when singles came out, everybody was like, man, Dr. Sid has sold out, man. These guys, it was all this. Don Jazzy, I hate you for what you've done to Dr. Sid. Blah, 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 blah. Not just okay.com, man. I mean, shout out to those guys. But
not just okay.
They really, I'll confess, I'm not the best singer out there. You know, but he checked the history and Tribe was a rapper. That's like, don't worry. The same people that are dissing you now will be the same person.
So are you going to teach me a little something? You know, maybe let me just put the microphone away and let's do this Oliver style, man. FACTORY78 TV, Oliver, twist. Let's go.
They get the figure eight. Move that body and wind up your waist. All my independent ladies spending that dough. Pop them bottles and act like you know.
This is FACTORY78 TV on FACTORY78.blogspot.com. You know what it is, YouTube/DJ FACTORY78. I'm standing right next to a MoHits member. We had to get him on the show. Dr. Sid, MoHits family member. How you doing, my brother?
Once again with the beat, cause I'm ladies to pop. It's Dr. Sid and the clinic is hot. My album is more anticipated than Barack Obama. Not chicken, but I thought the rock.
You know, you didn't have to get me on the show. I had to get on the show. You know, because I think FACTORY78 is doing big things for, you know, Afrobeats and Nigerian music in general. So I'm honored to be here. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Look, you know, I thought the first thing that really just, after the press conference, we started on a bad note, you know what I mean, with Tiwa Savage and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to introduce myself again. It's Ade here. You know, nice to meet you. We're going to leave Tiwa Savage to the side. We'll talk about that later on.
Did you get to talk to her?
I haven't, you know.
Sorry, she's on the plane back to Nigeria as we speak.
Damn. Exclusives on FACTORY78. So, look, bro, now let's talk about this music thing. You know, you're part of a group that has completely transformed the music industry in Nigeria. I like to say that because for a lot of people, the MoHits is not only a record label, but it's a family unit as well. First of all, you know, before we go into the back history of Dr. Sid, tell me about the MoHits family and what it means to you.
You know, I can't really talk about MoHits without going into the back history of Dr. Sid because when I started in music, I started in a family called the Tribe. You know, and the Tribe was just basically a collective of rappers signed on to LD's Tribe Records label. And, you know, we kind of developed the feeling of family. Like, I mean, it's business, you know, we all had contracts and things like that, but it was business and it was a family at the same time. We all ate together, we slept together, you understand, we worked together, you know, we built each other up. And, you know, when I came into MoHits, you know, I was lucky because it was the same kind of feeling. Apart from some of the members of MoHits being actual family members, you know, myself and one Nicole joined that unit and it was just the same feeling, family, togetherness, and we all work together. Everybody's on each other's backs like, yo, that verse you wrote is whack, man. You know, you need to change it or change it to this. When we're in the studio, we're working together collectively on each person's projects. So you know that before it comes out, we've criticized it. I think we all come from different backgrounds and have different ideologies when it comes to music. So when we put all that together into one, you know, we know that by the time we play for some other people's like, some work has gone into this record, you know. So that's the feeling that we have in MoHits, and I think it's our strength and it's what separates us from other labels.
You were talking about your background in music. You know, for a lot of people, they're not even sure. They don't even know what your background generally is. And what I found out is you've come from a pretty artistic family. You know, give us a little bit of a rundown about, you know, your background family-wise when it comes to art.
Well, you know, my dad is just as history. You have to add MON at the end now.
Yeah.
You know, he is basically one of the greatest actors Nigeria has ever produced. You know, since when I could remember, I've been watching my dad on television, and you know, every Wednesday, every Saturday night, you're waiting for Village Headmaster or you know, one of the shows. So just he's a legend in his own right. My mom is a fashion designer who has made clothes for some of the most important women in Nigerian history. I'm not going to mention any names, you know, but you know, coming from a family that has such a level of creativity, you know, somebody in the family had to go down that road. You know, my sister's graduate of business and law, but she's heavily into fashion. You know, my older brother's an accountant, my younger brother's a geologist, and you know, me being a dental surgeon. At a point in my life, I always knew that I was going to get into entertainment, and my dad kind of had a feeling that of all his children, it was going to be me. You know, that this one, you know. But it was inevitable because I've always had a passion for music. You know, I've been dancing since I could remember. When I got into uni, I joined the dance crew, which led me to Tribesmen, which eventually led me to MoHits Records. You know, so I mean, I never saw myself as a singer. I just saw myself as a dancer, Michael Jackson's backup dancer. You know what I'm saying? And you know, life has a funny way of getting you to where you are, and I'm here now, and I value every step that has brought me here, and I appreciate every single person who's you know, helped me in good or bad ways to become the man that I am today. So it's a blessing to be a guy who's gone in one direction, dental surgery, and still had the opportunity to come in the total opposite direction and be successful in that direction as well. So it's amazing.
Absolutely. You're talking about being a surgeon, a dentist. You know, for a lot of people, where we come from, education is extremely important. We know how our families, our parents are like, you have to go to school. So for you to have completed that degree and like handed that certificate to your dad and say, all right, I've done what I've done. Tell me about the discussion when you said, hey, I'm making music now.
The way you dance all over me, the way you dance all over me, they make me go away.
You know, I'm one of those guys who believes that education is important, no matter what it is. You know, if it could be anything. If it's not, it doesn't have to be a professional or a major degree, but some form of formal education is definitely important because, you know, entertainment and arts is not a guaranteed business. It's 50-50. Sometimes the odds are even against you. You know, so I think you always have to have a backup plan or some form of education that would give you an edge in the entertainment field. So I mean, it was a very interesting discussion when I told my dad that I was gonna be doing music. I think it was funny because he had just gotten me a job like a week before, and when I had the job interview, and the guy was like, okay, fine, when can you start? It's like, oh, I'll start on Monday. I was like, okay, cool. So when I was leaving the clinic, a friend of mine who I went to school with was working there. I was like, hey, dude, you okay? I was like, yeah. I said, dude, just tell me now, how much do they pay you? The guy was like 45,000 naira a month, which now is probably the equivalent of 200 pounds. Do you know what I'm saying? And I said, what are the hours? The guy said 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday. And I thought to myself, at that point in time, I was doing gigs, like weekly gigs, and then sometimes I'd have like 3 or 4 gigs in a weekend. And I was getting 45,000 a show. So I would probably make about 150 in a weekend, and I'm gonna sit in a clinic for those hours and end out.
For a whole month?
I just said, I didn't even show up. I didn't even call to say I wasn't coming. I just, just went into the studio the next week and started working on my album, and that led me to connect back with Don Jazzy and the band when they came down because they were looking for a studio to recording. And then I was like, oh, dude, we had met in London when I was doing my elective at King's College London. So we just like, oh, my dude, boy, I want to do this music thing. When I get buzz right now, how wanna feel help your guy? And Don Jazzy was like, you know what, hey, fine, come on. The band was like, we're cool, we're friends, we can help each other out, and the rest they say is history.
Absolutely. The first project that that you had or made with the MoHits family was I think it was the CV collective thing, where everybody kind of showcased their talents, and you were on like 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever tracks on that album. How was that for you, being that you had been working at the album, you'd worked with Tribesmen before, and then you had the opportunity to work with the MoHits crew. You wanted to make your own album, but the first project that came out was a collective album. What was that decision like for you?
I mean, we did kind of have a schedule in MoHits Records, and the first name on that schedule was the band had been out there. We needed to introduce. Don Jazzy wanted to introduce a record label, MoHits, and introduce all the artists he had on there. So the first project was to get the MoHits All Star CV album out. Use that album to introduce One Day Cole, because One Day Cole was pretty much on every single track on the album. One Day Cole, and then everybody has their own spot on the album. So okay, we know One Day Cole really well, but then we're also aware of these other artists who are waiting in the wings to come out. That's why after the MoHits Also CV project, there was the Banjo's album, The Entertainer, and then there was one they called Mushing to MoHits. So I mean, the process of the MoHits Also CV album was amazing. We just went to Abuja for 3 months, rented a huge apartment, and we just stayed in there for 3 months and made music.
Just banged it out.
Yeah.
Now you talked about, you know, the band, Mushing to MoHits, and then your album, which was a turning point, had Something About You, Something About You. One of my favorite tracks.
You're gonna take my job, man. You're singing about it.
You know what I mean? You know, I had one of my favorite tracks, you know, Something About You. Tell us about the making of that album, really.
Dr. Sid, MoHits in the house, Don Jazzy on the beat. There's something about this.
You know, it's quite odd because, you know, when I was, if you check the history in Tribe, I was a rapper on the MoHits All-Star CV project.
Larry always said that to me. That, you know, you were a rapper.
On the MoHits All-Star CV project, I was pretty much a rapper. I think the first attempt at sing rapping was on 1010, which was on the CV Reloaded album, which kind of just featured on One Day Cole's album as well. So Don Jazzy was like, you know what, I think hip-hop in Nigeria is not exactly big, it's not exactly making that much money. Do you want to have an album and just have an album out there? Do you want to have an album and let it be a classic and let people know you? I was like, I want to have a classic album. He's like, okay, fine. Well, I think you should change styles. I think you should do more singing on the album than rapping. And I was like, oh, I can't sing. I don't have a... When you hear One Day Cool sing, you kind of get intimidated. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, no problem. So when we started working on the album, the first song we recorded was a song called Baby. And, you know, Don Jazzy pretty much recorded the verses and had me sing and mimic his voice. And then when I hit that one, he was like, okay, fine, you got that one. Then we did Something About You, and it was like, okay, fine. Right. So I wrote the lyrics, and then he was like, okay, fine. This is how the melody should go. Do you know what I mean? And then when I was recording, Don Jazzy was just like, you know, sing like this. Something about you, something about you, something about you, girl. I go in there and I just mimic the sound of his voice. And then when we finished recording, he was like, you know what, take the CD, go listen, practice on singing it the way it sounds on the CD. And, you know, doing that constantly, it was funny, but it was kind of like vocal training, because then I started getting used to the notes and understanding harmonies and different things, and, you know, it helped me become a better singer. No, I mean, I'll confess, I'm not the best singer out there, you know, but he helped me develop my singing talent to the point where, you know, it's acceptable. Let's just put it that way. And, you know, we had pretty much finished the album in about 3 weeks. You know, apart from the songs we had collaborations on, which kind of took longer. So it was a beautiful working experience. Everybody was hands on deck. The band, the Prince, One Day, everybody was in there saying, no, I don't like that verse, change this, or let's do a song about this, you know, and stuff like that. So it was beautiful. When the singles came out, everybody was like, man, Dr. Sid has sold out, man. These guys, it was all this. Don Jazzy, I hate you for what you done to Dr. Sid. Blah, 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 you know. Not just OK.com, man. I mean, shout out to those guys, but
not just OK.
They really, the people commenting on that side really went in on Dr. Sid, you know. And then I'm not gonna lie, I literally went to Don Jazzy's room one night and I was crying. And I was like, dude, man, I'm not a young man, a guy.
Man, I know they talk to me anyhow.
There's no time for mistake. Oh, we can't afford to miss this opportunity. We can't go wrong on this album. And I'm just like, don't worry, the same people that are dissing you now will be the same person singing your songs on the concerts.
It's a pleasure, first of all, to listen to a little bit of an insight into the mind that is Don Jazzy, the way he works, because a lot of people don't know, you know, how he makes decisions. We just know he's got a family of guys that completely work so hard and come up with banging tunes. And to give us a little insight like that on a decision that probably must have, you know, taken a little while for it to sink in, trust me, that was really, really massive. And you have to understand your fans as well. When we know our artists that, you know, a specific way, it's difficult to accept them a different way. So I think it worked out perfectly for us.
Yeah, it did. I mean, a year later or 2 years later, I'm reading comments on a performance I did in Benin and seeing how different they were. I actually had to go back to Not Just Okay site and check the comments on the first post, and it just makes me feel really good to see that I have developed myself to that point where people actually appreciate me, and I haven't let them down. So apart from just having good music, I actually give great performances as well. So it feels really good to be in that position.
Absolutely. And now talking about the music, one of the things that Afrobeats have suffered in the past is making great music but not creating the best videos to match those songs. But the MoHits crew now has, I don't know, Chesson, whatever it is, I'm looking for you, man. I'm looking for you. It's like, this guy has completely, or you guys have completely turned that around. You found great music and sound, and then put fantastic visuals to the sound to even move it to a greater level. Now, speaking about your visuals, Over the Moon specifically, before we go to Bamijo, now, Over the Moon, I remember exactly where I was. I was at a barber shop. Someone came in, real. That's you, man. He came in and he was like, do you know what? Have I seen Not Just Okay today? I said, no. He said, go check it. Over the Moon is out. A brilliant song. You're watching the video, completely forget that you're listening to the song. And at the end of the day, you remember the lyrics to the song based on what you were listening and watching. Tell me about the making of such a fantastic video like that, and whose idea was it?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, Ted. That video was actually there's a long story behind it. In December 2009, I just put out the video for Something About You, and then D'banj asked me, said, what video do you want to put out next? And I was like, I want to put out Over the Moon, because I know that when the album comes out, what I wanted to do was some, like the graphics, a lot of 3D green screen stuff, and it was going to take about 3 months to produce. So I was like, I want to shoot that one now, so that in 3 months, when the album is coming out, the video would be ready. And the band was like, you know what, that's a good idea, but Pop Something is big right now, and that song will get you shows. So I think you should shoot Pop Something. So in my head, I still had that whole 3D, graphics, moon, and spaceships, everything, and all those kind of things, in my head. So we shot the Pop Something video. And then I was like, okay, fine, we've done Pop Something. I need to do Over the Moon, because the album is coming out in April. And then I sat down with my cousin and I was like, Cheech, I'll give a shout out to Cheech. And then I was like, you know what, we need to do a video, but I want to go outside the box. I don't want to see no moon. I don't want to see nobody flying. I don't want anything cliche that has to do with the lyrics. I want to have a video that represents the mood or the feeling of the song. And then we sat back and forth and like, what best describes the song? And then my cousin was like, you know what, it's a feeling. It's a guy who has seen someone that just makes him feel so alive that he's doing the oddest things that he wouldn't do. And then what would a guy do that's so crazy? He'd stalk a woman. Do you know what I'm saying? So my cousin sat down, and then I was doing a club tour at that point in time, and I had a friend who works in the hotel industry, and he was like, dude, I've got this amazing hotel in Uyo. You need to come down. You need to come check it out. So we took a detour from Eket, and we went to Uyo, and we stayed in this hotel, the Le Méridien Golf Resort in Uyo, and it was amazing. And then that night, my cousin was like, "Dude, I've seen the whole video. I've seen the whole video." So he literally finished the script that night, and then came back to Lagos, fine tuning it and presenting to the record label, and said, "You know what? This is what we have for the video." And Don Jazzy was like, "Man, that's really going outside of the box. Nobody's gonna expect this." Then the search for the lead girl started, and then I went on and on and on. I did castings and I looked at videos and I said, "Oh, I like that girl," and then I spoke to some people, and I had actually found someone who cancelled on me. And then I was talking to Tio, and I was like, "Man, I'm looking for a girl to do this video. So I'll show you do for me." She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Huh? Really?" And that was it. Tio blessed me with an amazing performance in that video.
Sure did.
And the rest is history. I like to work with a lot of different directors. Shesa and I have a very good working relationship and working chemistry. But I try to, like, on my video Pop Something, I work with Walter Banga. I try to see his mix it a little bit. And I went back to work with DJT because he owed me a video. So I went to work with DJT, and he brought the vision of the video to the screen, which is what made me really happy about the video. A lot of people got upset about, oh, there's no dancing. I know you could dance to the song when it's in the club, you know what I mean? But this video will let the adults and the older generation appreciate it. The younger generation can appreciate it. It cuts across, you know, people. So, you know, I was very, you know, happy with the video, and I was inspired to start planning the next one.
It was an incredible video. I still watch that all the time. It's still brilliant. You know, now you made Bami Joe another crazy, you know, another different type of video. The outfits were ridiculous. You know, everything when it comes to the music video. Yes, sir.
The planning for Bami Joe started in 2009. I'd seen T-shirts done by a guy called Elevated Minds, a Hije, and I loved it because he's basically all those T-shirts were and jackets were hand painted. So I contacted him in May of 2010. I said, look, I want to shoot a video for this particular song featuring these artists, and I want you to make hoodies for all these artists. The hoodies were done in August of 2010. And then we kept pushing the shoot, and I was planning, and I was talking to Chesson, what can we do? I wanted to do something crazy, you know, but I don't want to go over with the budget. You know what I'm saying?
Simple.
It's just simple, but to the point.
Classy.
And then I called Ahija and said, you know what? We've got the script for the video, but I need something more. I need another outfit. And he was okay, fine, he'll make varsity jackets. So he banged out another set of varsity jackets. And then, you know, we were just like, you know what, fine, dude. Let's get this video cracking. We found an amazing studio in Lagos called Koko Studios, massive, you know, and allowed us to shoot
what we wanted to do.
So LD came down, Ikechukwu came down, MI came down, banged the video out, you know, and I was quite impressed with Cheson's editing. It came out beautifully. You know, I was kind of going for that, you know, whole Jay-Z on to the next one. What's this called? Drake Forever kind of feel, you know.
Drake, he had a fantastic video. It was shot perfectly. The colors, the pictures on the back of the jackets was brilliant. And it just kind of, for me, it just made me think, okay, Dr. Sid now, for me, is a fantastic artist. It comes out with brilliant songs that people can love. The melodies are great. The videos are fantastic. I'm looking forward to a stage performance. I'm not really one of those people that enjoys performances on stage because I really enjoy my music, like studio music, a lot. So the Koko Concert, if you missed it, Series 3, HMV Apollo, you missed it. That's what I'm going to say. Just wait for next year, whatever it is, Series 4, I don't care. The band, you need to bring yourself back here in the UK. It was absolutely crazy. We got there quite late, but we were lucky. It was probably about 20 minutes before you guys went on stage. Eddie Caddy family, FACTORY78 family, made it crazy. It warmed us up really bad. You know, everybody was laughing. And then the MoHits family came out. What I noticed was the whole crew came out initially. Now, Dr. Sid hyped the whole crew. So he was playing backing singer to every single artist on the stage. You sang a couple of songs together, everybody kind of faded away and left you in the band to hold the stage. Dr. Sid stayed behind and backed the band. The band sang a couple of songs and now faded away, and then we had one man on the stage. Dr. Sid was singing on his own. After a couple of songs, shaking your booty to the girls and all that kind of stuff. They took all your shirts. They tried to take your jacket, but you wouldn't let go.
Our jacket didn't go nowhere.
Exactly. And then you brought out Prince. You backed the Prince up. He went back in. K-Switch came out. You backed him up. He went back in. The band came out. Brought out Kanye West. Ridiculous event. Everybody had goosebumps in the whole place. You backed all of them up. And then the whole family came out again. And you backed Wandeko and backed the whole family. You were on stage literally for at least 95% of the entire show. The only time you left was to change your top that you had given away to the fans. Yeah. The stage performance was incredible. I've never, ever witnessed anything like that. I'm proud to be African. Afrobeats is fantastic right now. Thank you, MoHits. Koko Concert Series 3 was incredible. Dr. Sid, for me, your performance, hype, energy, dance move, singing, interaction with the fans took it to a different level. You know, I just want to say thank you. you know, right here. Thank you very much for a wonderful performance, man. You know, we're proud of you guys, man. I had to say it. Like, thank you very much for doing so well, you know, for us, producing fantastic music and putting up great shows like the one you just did. What's next for Dr. Sid?
Well, I'm going back into the studios, you know, to make some new music. I'm hopefully gonna be have time to jump over to New York to work with Don Jazzy because he's quite busy on the Good Music project right now. But we still, you know, kind of liaise via the internet and stuff like that. But I'm hoping to spend a lot of time with Don Jazzy working because I'm learning how to produce as well. I've done a few songs, produced a few songs that are out there, but you know, working on doing more production, getting into the studio, put out some new music. But I want to shoot some more videos of the Turning Point album for some of the singles that, you know, a lot of people didn't hear as singles. You know, just get that done and just basically take your Dr. Sid brand to the next level.
Well, the brand is incredible right now, and I see the star just rising and rising and rising. Where can people catch you? Twitter, Facebook, your website? That's a long something. Let's go. You know, on Twitter, it's at Dr Sid MoHits. That's DrSidMoHits. On Facebook is facebook.com/Dr Sid. My official website is officialdrsid.com. That's OFFICIALDRSID.com. MySpace is myspace.com/TheRealDrSid. Reverb Nation is reverbnation.com/Dr Sid. Am I missing anything out? I think I pretty much got everything. Absolutely. And
on BB is 236.
See, the girls have pulled it out. Yeah, 236. Yeah, right. The way you wanted to yank his jacket, but he wasn't gonna let you go. I saw that, man. You stuck onto that jacket like you were gonna die.
You know what? I'd rather go into the crowd than let the jacket go. It means a lot to me. A jacket is beautiful, and I'm not going to lie. Somebody has booked it already.
Hey, let's go. Now, before you get out of the studio, a lot of people have seen the craze on the internet. Oliver Dance Move is ridiculous. It's crazy. So, are you going to teach me a little something? You know, maybe let me just put the microphone away and let's do this Oliver style, man. FACTORY78 TV, Oliver, twist. Let's go.
I have a confession, so you gotta listen. I have a confession, don't take it personal. I say I have a confession, so you gotta listen. See, I like Beyonce, but she tell we jinga. I like Uniki, I am she speaker. I like Rihanna.
Down here TV, Dr. Sid in the building. An absolute pleasure, a honor. Thank you very much for coming right around, man. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Catch us next time.
You already know what it is. It's your boy, Dr. Sid, FACTORY78 Chinchilla. It's FACTORY78.blogspot.com. You all need to check it out. If you don't know what it is, you're on a very long tin because you need to go there and see what is happening in African and Nigerian music. Lego.
Cause you know the drink I ring, it's not about you know. You cannot play me though.